ever wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken?
She's literally the only person there. Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
Chicken
Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally after 3 weekends.
Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie versus Disney's Snow White, which in theory should be quite a battle, but it's not even a fair fight.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
You won't believe what just went down between Rachel Zegler and Jack Black. It's the Hollywood drama we didn't see coming, but now it's exploding all over social media. Rachel, already under fire for the ongoing Snow White disaster, just snapped, and this time her target is none other than Jack Black himself. Yep, that Jack Black, the beloved comedy legend who's been in the game for decades, roasting with charm and cracking up audiences since before Rachel was even born. So what happened? According to insiders, it all started when Jack made a brutally honest joke about the Snow White remake. And let's just say, Rachel didn't take it lightly. What was meant to be a lighthearted jab turned into an all-out feud when Rachel fired back in a way that has everyone talking, and not in a good way.
I truly do believe that. There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion. But the reality is she's just not stable.
The future of Hollywood is being battled out right now in theaters as 2 live-action remakes from the biggest studios in Hollywood go head-to-head.
Fans are now split down the middle. Some say Rachel's just defending herself, while others think she's digging her own career grave one outburst at a time. Is she spiraling, or is this the fight she needed to reclaim her image? Either way, this tea is piping hot, and we've got all the receipts. From what Jack actually said, to Rachel's heated response, to how this drama could spell the final nail in the coffin for Disney's Snow White, trust me, you do not want to miss this one. Grab your popcorn, because this feud is just getting started. From day one, Zegler's casting caused a stir, and not the good kind. Instead of honoring the beloved fairy tale, she went on a PR spree that left fans furious. Interview after interview, she slammed the original story, labeled the prince a stalker, and made it clear she had no interest in playing the Snow White people knew and loved. According to her, this version wouldn't need a prince at all, and the iconic 7 dwarfs? Scrapped completely. Fans weren't just confused, they were outraged. And the way Zegler doubled down with such bold confidence only added fuel to the fire. At one point, she even declared things that critics now say completely backfired. Those soundbites started to haunt her big time as the premiere drew closer. Then came the strangest twist. Rachel began posting clips of herself watching the film in totally empty theaters. Not just once, but several times. It was like a scene from a movie in itself. Zegler, alone in rows of vacant seats, sharing it all as if she didn't notice how bad it looked. The vibe was more eerie than empowering, and to fans, it screamed one thing loud and clear. No one was showing up. The silence in those theaters said more than words ever could, and the internet ran with it. For fans watching everything unfold online, the whole situation felt painfully awkward, like witnessing someone spiral while pretending everything was fine. Rachel Zegler's social media posts from empty theaters didn't just look bad, they felt like denial in real time. The public could see the writing on the wall, even if she couldn't. But while her Snow White campaign was sinking fast, something totally unexpected was taking Hollywood by storm just a few miles away. Enter the Minecraft movie. Yep, the same pixelated game kids play endlessly was now dominating the box office. A film that many industry insiders had laughed off as a throwaway project suddenly became the surprise hit of the season. Critics praised its creativity, fans showed up in droves, and box office numbers skyrocketed. In a shocking twist, Minecraft made more in the US in one single weekend than Snow White pulled in worldwide after 3 full weeks. And that's when the whispers started, the Jack Black rumors. Word on the street is that Jack Black, Hollywood funny man, beloved Kung Fu Panda voice, and one of Minecraft's biggest stars, allegedly had a tense exchange with Zegler right in the middle of all this chaos. Sources say he didn't hold back. Behind the scenes, Jack reportedly asked Rachel how she could keep brushing off the criticism like it was all just online hate, and he didn't sugarcoat it either. According to insiders, he straight up asked her, "Do you really think calling your fans trolls is helping anything?" That moment, if true, could be a major turning point in how the industry sees her. One star riding the wave of a box office triumph, the other watching her fairy tale role unravel right in front of her, and possibly being called out for the very behavior fueling the backlash. He allegedly hit her with that blunt question, and what happened next depends on which Hollywood whisper you believe. Some insiders say Rachel Zegler got emotional on the spot, overwhelmed by the confrontation. Others claim she stormed off the set, visibly upset. And then there are the more dramatic rumors, the ones that say she completely broke down in front of Disney execs, tears, tension, and total meltdown. There's even talk that Zegler sought out therapy after the incident, though that part remains unconfirmed. What is clear, however, is that everything changed right around that time. The Snow White press machine, once buzzing with activity, suddenly went eerily quiet. Disney stopped pushing the film with the same energy, opting for vague, cautious statements that gave fans more questions than answers. Zegler, who had been hyper-visible online, posting interviews and behind-the-scenes content constantly, suddenly disappeared. Her social media accounts went dark for days. No tweets, no TikToks, no Instagram stories. People started to ask, had the pressure finally broken her? Meanwhile, behind the scenes, things were spiraling out of control. Sources say the film was undergoing a last-minute overhaul, like full-blown panic mode. Major edits were being made just weeks before the release. Whole scenes and even entire storylines were cut in a desperate attempt to save face. And the end result? According to test audiences, it didn't work. Feedback from those screenings painted a bleak picture. Viewers described the movie as awkwardly stitched together, emotionally hollow, and borderline preachy. One person said it felt like watching two completely different films smashed into one, and not in a clever or creative way, just confusing. Even Disney CEO Bob Iger was reportedly raising eyebrows. Behind closed doors, he was said to be concerned about how the film was tracking and whether they were sitting on the studio's next major flop. What was once hyped as a bold reimagining had turned into a corporate headache, and Zegler was smack in the middle of it. After hearing how badly test audiences were reacting, Disney's top brass, especially CEO Bob Iger, reportedly started demanding answers. How did a film with billion-dollar potential veer so far off course? Snow White wasn't just another release. It was supposed to be a guaranteed hit, a cultural reset, a modern-day fairy tale that would rake in cash and reignite Disney's legacy. Instead, it was shaping up to be an expensive disaster, and making things worse, the timing. Because right as Snow White was falling apart, the Minecraft movie was soaring. What was supposed to be a niche kids flick with low expectations suddenly turned into a box office juggernaut. Critics were calling it clever and charming. Fans were loving it, and families were filling theaters. Kids were dancing in the aisles, parents were laughing along, and audiences left happy. That kind of joy? That used to be Disney's specialty. Meanwhile, Snow White was being dragged online for being preachy, self-righteous, and more like a lecture than a fairy tale. Viewers said it didn't feel like magic. It felt like homework. And that comparison hit the House of Mouse where it hurt. Instead of inspiring, Snow White felt like it was trying too hard to teach a message. Even Disney loyalists, people who usually defend every move the studio makes, were openly admitting something was off. What was meant to reaffirm Disney's storytelling crown ended up making fans question if the studio even understands what audiences want anymore. Had Disney lost its touch? And in the middle of all this, the Rachel Zegler and Jack Black situation kept people talking. What exactly happened between them? The full truth is still unclear. Some say it was just an awkward conversation. Others hint at something far more intense. But whatever went down, it happened right when the entire Snow White campaign began unraveling, and fans can't help but wonder if that moment was the final straw. Some insiders claim the blow-up happened during a press event, in front of rolling cameras and shocked onlookers. Others say it went down behind closed doors during reshoots, a private, no-holds-barred exchange away from the public eye. And then there's a third version making the rounds, that there was never a face-to-face confrontation at all, just sharp, passive-aggressive messages exchanged between their reps. Whichever version is true, one thing is certain. Once the story hit the rumor mill, it took off like wildfire. The idea of a Hollywood veteran like Jack Black calling out a young rising star like Rachel Zegler, that struck a nerve with fans. And fast. To many, it wasn't just about two celebrities clashing. It felt symbolic, like a moment that captured a much bigger conversation. The growing frustration with what people see as Hollywood's obsession with messaging over storytelling. Audiences have been quietly grumbling for a while, saying movies are starting to feel more like lectures than entertainment. But this incident? It brought all that bubbling tension into full view. Meanwhile, Ziegler was trying to keep it together, at least on the surface. She kept posting her usual polished selfies, sprinkled in some motivational quotes, and reshared kind words from loyal fans. But the vibe had shifted. Her content, once full of confidence and spark, now felt forced, like someone putting on a brave face while trying not to crack under the pressure. And in today's social media world, that kind of energy shift gets picked up instantly. The internet, as always, was quick to react. Some fans stood by her, highlighting how brutal Hollywood can be for young women and how online backlash is often rooted in double standards. But others weren't so kind. They saw her attempts to shrug off the criticism as more proof of arrogance and turned it into meme material. Screenshots, reaction videos, sarcastic TikToks, you name it. Suddenly, Rachel Zegler wasn't just a trending topic. She was internet content. Rachel Zegler's fall from rising star to viral internet punchline happened so fast, it practically gave people whiplash. 1 minute, she was being hailed as Disney's next leading lady. The next, she was the subject of endless memes and mockery. And with every headline, every tweet, and every TikTok dissecting her every move, the chaos only got louder. Behind the scenes at Disney, panic was reportedly setting in hard. Sources say the PR department went into emergency mode. Strategies were rewritten overnight, massive chunks of the marketing budget were quietly pulled back, and last-minute reshoots were ordered in a frenzy. It wasn't just a cleanup, it was damage control on a scale Disney hadn't faced in years. Executives held back-to-back meetings, scrambling for any plan that could salvage the sinking ship. And as all of that was happening, Minecraft kept winning. While Disney was trying to stop the bleeding, Minecraft was soaring past the $300 million mark globally, without controversy, without backlash, and without a single PR fire to put out. That contrast made Snow White's failure sting even more. This wasn't just a disappointing performance, it was what insiders were now calling a full implosion of expectations. And that implosion ran deeper than box office numbers. This was a moment that exposed something far more serious, a breakdown in the trust between Disney and its audience. Fans felt betrayed, like the studio no longer understood or cared about what they actually wanted to see. It wasn't just a flop, it was a wake-up call. In the midst of it all, the rumored Jack Black confrontation became the flashpoint, a symbolic moment representing everything that had gone wrong. One seasoned Hollywood veteran, calm, experienced, and thriving in a successful film, allegedly standing up and saying what everyone else was too scared to admit. Some say Jack humiliated Zegler with brutal honesty. Others insist he didn't attack her at all. He simply voiced a truth no one else had the guts to say out loud. Either way, that moment has become part of the lore surrounding Snow White's downfall, a lone voice of reason in a room full of execs and creatives doubling down on a vision that was rapidly losing touch with the audience. And now, as the dust settles, everyone's asking, can Disney recover? Or is this just the beginning of something bigger? At some point, someone has to say it. Sometimes the audience is right. And brushing off every bit of criticism by calling fans trolls? That's not just bad PR, it's delusional. This whole situation with Rachel Zegler has become way bigger than a single movie. It's turned into a mirror, reflecting Hollywood's deeper issues. Tone-deaf messaging, overhyped moralizing, and a growing disconnect between studios and the people they're trying to entertain. The rumored clash between Zegler and Jack Black captured that tension perfectly. perfectly. On one side, you have a veteran performer who knows how to deliver heart, humor, and crowd-pleasing fun. On the other, a rising star caught in the middle of a film that felt more like a statement than a story. And if the reports about Zegler breaking down emotionally are true, then it's not just about her reaching a breaking point, it's about Disney's entire live-action strategy cracking at the seams. Once considered a surefire money machine, the live-action remake model is now under serious scrutiny. The warning signs have been there for a while: sequels underperforming, lukewarm reviews, and a fan base that's getting harder to impress. But Snow White? That may be the loudest and clearest signal yet that something's not working. Audiences aren't asking for perfection. They're asking for authenticity. They want the magic back. They want the same wonder and joy that made them fall in love with these stories in the first place. What they don't want is their favorite childhood classics turned into lifeless lectures that check off corporate boxes but leave their hearts untouched. And if someone as universally beloved as Jack Black couldn't help course correct this project, then maybe the problem runs deeper than any single performance. Maybe it's time for Disney to step back and really examine what its audience is craving, because this isn't just one flop, it's the potential unraveling of a legacy. Disney didn't build its magic empire on marketing trends or polished corporate messaging. It was built on raw emotion, unforgettable stories, and that unmistakable sense of wonder that made generations fall in love with its characters. When that feeling starts to fade, audiences notice. And they don't stay quiet about it. They don't just shrug and walk away quietly. They skip the premieres, roast the trailers online, and flood social media with memes calling out exactly what feels off. People aren't paying for morality plays dressed up in fantasy costumes. They want to be entertained. They crave fun that feels sincere, not scripted. They want characters they can root for, stories they can escape into, and magical worlds that feel alive. They're chasing that rare moment when the lights dim, the screen glows, and for a few hours, the outside world just disappears. Until Disney taps back into that core feeling, the magic it once delivered so effortlessly, no legacy franchise, no flashy trailer, and no clever marketing campaign will fix the growing disconnect. If nothing changes soon, Snow White might be remembered not just as a commercial letdown, but as the film that shattered the illusion of Disney's unbeatable remake formula. And this isn't just about one project getting bad reviews. This is about a deeper fracture, one that could mark a turning point in how fans view the company's storytelling legacy. What was supposed to be a triumphant return to a beloved tale has instead become a symbol of creative detachment. In the eyes of many, it's not just a misfire, it's a betrayal of the trust audiences once gave Disney without question. And once that trust is gone, it's hard to win back. People stop giving you the benefit of the doubt. Every new release is met with suspicion. Every trailer gets dissected. Every cast member's interview becomes a potential scandal. Fans no longer show up out of loyalty. They show up with side eyes and skepticism. Snow White wasn't just a missed opportunity. It might be the spark that lights a much larger fire. So, was Jack Black the voice of reason Disney needed to hear? Was his alleged confrontation with Rachel Zegler the moment that pulled back the curtain on what's really going wrong inside the Magic Kingdom? Some industry insiders think so. They say it marked the boiling point, a quiet rebellion against an industry machine that prioritizes optics over authenticity. Then again, maybe it's just another viral Hollywood rumor blown out of proportion for clicks and drama. It wouldn't be the first time a backstage comment turned into a front-page saga. In today's digital world, all it takes is one tense moment, a side-eye or a vague tweet, and suddenly it's a full-blown narrative with a life of its own. But regardless of whether the Jack Black story is true in every detail, the ripple effects are real. Snow White is now under a microscope. Rachel Zegler, Jack Black, Bob Iger, the Disney brand itself, every move is being watched. Every quote is being analyzed. Every frame is being reviewed. What happens next could redefine how Hollywood approaches its biggest property properties going forward. This might be the wake-up call studios have been ignoring for too long, or it might just be another speed bump in a drama-heavy year. But the comparisons between Snow White and Minecraft tell a bigger story. One tried to reinvent a classic with an agenda front and center. The other embraced pure fun, creativity, and joy, and didn't apologize for it. One seemed more focused on what it wasn't trying to be, while the other celebrated everything it was. And audiences made their choice loud and clear. They chose heart over lectures. They chose authenticity over messaging. They chose stories that made them feel something real over movies that told them what to think. And the irony? A film based on a pixelated video game is delivering more emotional connection than a $200 million reimagining of one of the most beloved fairy tales ever made. That should say everything, because no amount of CGI, brand history, or big-name casting can replace genuine heart. If Disney wants to reclaim its crown, the answer isn't in boardroom strategies or reboots overloaded with social commentary. It's in remembering why people cared in the first place. Reconnect with the wonder. Reignite the magic. Tell stories that move people. Because when a studio respects its audience and honors the legacy it built its name on, that's when real movie magic happens. And if Disney forgets that, then no matter how many remakes they push out, not even all the king's horses and all the king's men will be able to put Snow White back together again.